but it's about luxury. And to help us answer this question, we have leading luminaries from across the continent, and they are going to be introducing themselves. I will start with Marcy from Nigeria.
Hello, hi everybody. So good to be here. Thank you so much, Catherine, for organizing this. My name is Mercy Akamo from Bella Nigeria Weddings, and I'm the head of content and education for Bella Nigeria Weddings. Some of you also know me as the editor of Bella Nigeria Weddings. So honestly, I'm very excited to be here, and thank you again, Catherine, for organizing this.
Thank you, thank you. We will come back home and we'll introduce Shiro Magira.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay,
yes,
good.
we can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon to Africa and especially to Kenya, because I'm super excited to be here. Thank you, Catherine, for hosting this. Thank you for Samantha. I am Shiro Magira, as Catherine said, from Magnolia Event Planners. We are an event planning, wedding planning company, and we also specialize in wedding and decor. We are very passionate about all things beautiful, and especially passionate about couples and happily ever after. So thank you, and I look forward to the rest of the discussions.
And then still home is Fatima. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? So nice to be here today. I'm Fatima Baiji from Aura Event Planners. We're wedding decor, wedding planning. We do event design. So proud to be here. So happy to be amongst such amazing people. And we're looking forward to connect with everybody. Yes, Catherine.
Thank you. Next, we have Christina Holt from South Africa.
Hi, everyone. Really good to see you all. I'm Christina. I run a company called Wedding Concepts in South Africa. We are very much about destination weddings into Southern Africa, so not just South Africa. We operate across all of this country, but also into neighboring countries. So we do a lot of couples from all across Africa and all across the continent who come to South Africa. Super exciting, and we're all about, I think, exclusivity and the very personal planning journey. So I'm excited to share some of our knowledge and learnings with you. Thank you.
Great, Christina. Next is Yes Exclusive, again from South Africa.
It's okay. Hello, everybody. We're very happy to be here. This is Elfie Bossinger, and I'm Sylvia Bossinger. We are from Yes Exclusive Weddings and Events and Yes Exclusive Flowers. So we have a boutique wedding planning agency here in South Africa. We have a licensed office in Dubai, and we have in Germany still a beautiful wedding venue where we do boutique weddings. And for the African continent, we are a fine flower importer and exporter of flowers, cut flowers. So we are very happy to be here, and I'm excited to what everyone has to share, and it's a great initiative. Thank you very much, Catherine, for allowing us to be here and to share with Africa what we know and to hear what the others have to say. Thank you very much. And we are, by the way, a mother-daughter duo. Yes. Thanks, Catherine.
I just love the duo, mother-daughter. Amazing.
She couldn't stop saying that.
No, I'm very proud of her.
Yeah. So next we have Shamim from Uganda. Please introduce yourself, Shamim. Unmute yourself. You'll have to unmute yourself, Shamim.
It says host muted you. Is it okay now?
It's okay now. You can just start all over.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shamim Mago from Uganda. I'm one of two partners at iCandy, own it with my sister. I'm excited to be here and share the little knowledge that I have, but mostly to learn from all of you. Can't wait.
Yeah, we also can't wait. We can't wait. Yeah, from Uganda. Amazing things are happening there.
Oh, yes.
So next we have Bisola Bora from Nigeria. Bisola.
Hello, my name is Bisola Bora. I'm the founder and creative director of TrainDB Elite Events, TrainDB Events. I'm also the head coach of the Planner Extraordinaire project here in Nigeria. I'm so excited to share positivity today and why it's definitely important for us to align with our purpose. I can't wait for us to get into it, and yes.
I like that, positivity. I think that's what the viewers and anyone listening to us from whichever part of the world should be looking forward to. Then we have back home, Susan, Infinite Planners. Susan? Susan? Is she here with us? I think she hasn't joined yet. She'll be joining us. As we wait for Susan, Lucia Musau, I see you've joined us. Please welcome, introduce yourself. Lucia. Okay. Lucia? Okay, I suppose they will Lucia.
Hi, Catherine, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
And how is everyone?
I think everybody's good.
Sorry, just settling in. Give me a few. I will be fully with you shortly.
Okay. So later on, so Susan is not here I think she'll be joining us later. She'll introduce herself. Just some bit of, so viewers, please free to interact with us. On the bottom of the screen, you can see where participants are. You can ask questions, and the questions will be answered. And then also, just the structure of the conversation. So we'll have a first conversation, and later on towards the end, we'll have an opportunity for you to ask the questions. But you can comment, we contribute. Like, you know, with everything, nobody knows anything really for sure. So we are all just trying to understand everything. So comment and we can share. So today's topic, oh, I need to introduce myself. Sorry, viewers. My name is Catherine Masisa. I will be your host today. And the topic today, like I said earlier on, is about luxury, but we are asking one question. Is this the end of luxury as we know it? It's a very, when I sent this question to all the panelists, they had many different, you know, opinions. And so we're gonna be hearing from them. But first, before we go ahead, I would like for us to observe just a 30-second silence for one of, you know, in Nigeria, there is an event planner who just passed away, Elizabeth R. Events. And we would like to honor her with a 30-second silence. And please, let's begin. Well, may her soul rest in peace. I think 30 seconds are over. And again, Funke from Zafire Events, unfortunately, you know, could also not join us because she's also dealing with personal loss. She just called me this afternoon. So again, maybe next week we'll be able to have her, but she was not able to join us. So our heartfelt condolences to them. So anyway, on a more positive note, I wonder if Susan has joined us. If not, Lucia, are you ready to introduce yourself? But as you're introducing yourself, I want to start off by asking you a couple of questions. Are you ready, Lucia, for us? Lucia Msau, are you ready? Okay, so she says I give her a few minutes. So Lucia was going to paint a picture for us. We are talking about luxury, and she's gonna tell us why Africa is really the most promising market when we talk about luxury and luxury goods. And we're also going to look at, assembled here, we are looking at the 3 parts of Africa. We're looking at East Africa, South Africa, and Nigeria. And these are the markets that are most likely, that are showing the biggest potential for growth. So she's going to actually expound for us in terms of why she thinks, she's gonna give us an overview of the African luxury market. But to start us off, just for the sake of the viewers, let's paint a picture. When we talk luxury, like I said, it's very, very, very elusive. So we're gonna paint a picture for the viewers. Christina, from South Africa, when we talk about luxury, and you look like you knew I was gonna ask you this question. I'm going to start with you, yes. When you talk about a luxury wedding, for the sake of comparison, let's say a wedding hosting about 200 to 300 people. What is the entry point for you to start saying that it's luxury?
Yeah, I think there are 2 different parts to this question. One is purely the financial part that we all measure luxury against, where we say, you know, how much has something cost? If it costs more, therefore it must be more luxurious, which sometimes is true and sometimes it isn't. If you would like to know that, I'm going to cut straight through it. Our average wedding size, also due to the fact that they are destination weddings most of the time, but not all the time, probably about 150 guests. That's on average. We also host larger celebrations for 600-700 people. But if I look at that, if I take the 150 guests for a beautiful, very, very bespoke and personalized experience that they have here, excluding any travel component, we normally deal with budgets, I'd say, between $70,000 to $90,000 US dollars. So I'm stating dollars because it's easier for all of us to maybe convert. We've dealt with very large projects over a number of days with many, many more than 150 guests. Like, for example, right now I'm busy planning something, if I added the travel component to it, which is probably the equivalent of $750,000, which is a lot of money, obviously. But for that, you also, you know, host many people in great style over a number of days. Then there's the other part of luxury for us, which is the experiential part. Has nothing to do with money, has all to do with really small touch points, with being usually personal. It's not just about the look and how, you know, how many flowers have got on the table at the end of the day. It is about how personal was the journey to get to that point, and what experiences across all the senses does the couple and all the guests take away at the end of the day. And that can be the smallest thing. So I'm ambassador on saying that luxury can be a very simple, really small thing that is just executed perfectly and very, very personal to the client.
Okay,
that's
thank
right.
you, Christina.
Yeah,
So we're going to jump over to, it's amazing, you can just jump over virtually, to Nigeria. Bisola, tell us, entry point, just for the sake of comparison, between 200 to 300 guests, what would you term as a luxury wedding? What would you pass for a luxury wedding? Yes.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to say that this is really a trying time for everyone. So first and foremost, I want everyone to take a deep breath and relax. Everything will pass, seasons will pass, this will pass. But right now, it's about adapting now and evolving now. So in terms of luxury here, I would say that what I used to define my own luxury I'll start from when I started. I didn't really have the big budgets earlier, but I knew I wanted to be a luxury event planner. I knew that I wanted to serve an exquisite class of people. I wanted my experience to be unique. So what I had to do is, from the budget I had then, I was able to manage it in such a way that I could still create an experience for me to attract the luxury clients. So for example, to attract favor, I tell people that you have to look like what people want. And so I wanted to attract the luxury market. So what I did was that from those jobs I got, I was able to manage my budget in such a way. I was dealing with luxury vendors, ensuring that they give me quality in the areas that people see. People see when they come into the event, what they taste, how they experience it, and manage the little extras on other things that I know, okay, I don't really need to have so many of those other things, but what people see in totality, it's a phenomenal experience. And because of that, I started attracting more people that were thinking in that light. Because like I said earlier, it's what people see that they attract. It's what people see that attracts people. So the quality you give out is what you attract. And then I would say that from a minimum budget of about $22,000 back then, I was able to manage it in order that I was giving luxury service with what was affordable within that budget. And now I've been able to plan and execute events of over $100,000 and way more. So it's been a process for me, but I was very intentional from the beginning. I knew what I wanted, I knew who I wanted to attract, and I was going in that direction, working with people that were A-list, working with people that know their work, working with people that have details. I was intentional and I went for it. So once you give luxury experiences, once you're detailed, you attract those market. And before you know it, people are ready to listen to you and pay you your worth. And before you know, you start doing even in the millions.
Okay, so for the sake of comparison for our viewers, so between 200 to 300 guests, if how much in terms of what is the entry point? In South Africa, we see entry point for you to start talking about luxury is about $90,000. In Nigeria, what is the entry point in US dollars? For about
I would say $100,000, but then again, even if you don't have $100,000, have it at the back of your mind that with that budget you have, you can manage it. That's what I was saying worked for me. How it worked for me was I didn't wait to have $100,000 budget first. Okay. Because when you start first, you're probably not going to be getting the $100,000. You have to prove your worth in the industry. So I started from what I had, and as little as even $22,000, I was able to still create luxury experiences by being intentional. Now I can attract the $100,000. I can attract the $200,000. I now create even, don't be discouraged even when you have the little budget. Make sure that you're able to take out a part of it to give an experience that people can go back and say, that was luxury. It can mean the way people, as soon as they get into the venue, the type of music, the experience they see by at the entrance, the type of food, the way it is plated, the way the way the charger plates, napkin, cutleries, water, wine, champagne glasses are set up on the table, the way the hostesses come up to you, what they say, how they look, you know, the experience. And before you know it, people that think of that in that way, that class, they start coming to you, you become the go-to person. So you have to be intentional. That's what I would just say. And you attract everything. So yeah, luxury is all about, for me, giving luxury experiences, making sure the details are well aligned to the brief and exceed expectations. Second, most importantly, obviously, you must have the right budget to be able to execute well in all areas.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Now let's come back to Kenya. Susan joined us? She may be having a bit of a challenges. Let's go to Uganda. Entry level, for you to consider a wedding as luxury. Just to allow our viewers to be able to just, for comparison's sake, what is entry point for a luxury wedding? Unmute yourself. Shamim, unmute yourself.
Sorry, is it fine now?
Yes.
Okay, so the entry point for Uganda, I think in Uganda we don't use planners a lot. So usually the event decorator is like the center of the whole event. So for entry point for 200 to 300 guests for luxury could be about $15,000. But that's just event decor, not for the food and everything else. Yes, for event decor, it's about $15,000.
Okay. Would you be knowing the an approximate, just in terms of full budget for about 200 to 300 guests?
For about 200 to 300 guests, it should be about 120, about 40,000.
40,000. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So Fatima, Fatima.
Yes, Catherine.
Tell us about Kenya. Entry level for about 200 to 300 guests. I mean, no one can talk about really. You can talk about luxury in Kenya.
I think luxury is something you cannot quantify, because luxury can mean so it's different things to different people. Like for Kenyans, I think luxury is amazing decor, a show-stopping cake, and a really nice wedding dress. So those are the three things most of my clients want. Food, I think here, it's food is something that is still, it takes a bit of convincing for people to spend a lot on food. From my experience, I mean, the cake is always overtakes the food. Every client I meet, the cake has to be the highlight. So I think if I was to look at generally a well-balanced client who wants everything to be luxury, I'd be looking at about $50,000 as a starting point for about 200 to 250 people. That's, I think, a reasonable budget to start with. And then depending on, again, as I mentioned before, luxury can mean different things to different people. So, we can start off with that and then go up the scale.
Okay, great. That's $50,000. That's 5 million Kenya shillings.
Yes.
Yeah, so now let's go a little bit much more back to South Africa. Sylvia, I want to ask you, right now, for your luxury end clients, how have they been affected by COVID? Your luxury clients.
Can I just go back one step back to the question that we had? Because I think at the moment we are discussing how much is it per country, the entry level, but I also think we should take in consideration where the client's coming from. Because, I mean, this is funny enough, 3 Germans represent South Africa in this discussion. I found it quite funny, interesting enough that Christina and we are all Germans, and we are working here in South Africa in different fields. And I think if you have African clients, they define luxury in a different way, like maybe Americans or maybe even Germans. German clients, for example, or European clients, they come here to Africa, they don't expect a lot of luxury in terms of massive amount of flowers or a lot of golden chairs and things like that. They want to get the real African experience. They want to get maybe in a lodge, or they want to experience the wildlife. They want to experience Africa, and this is for them luxury. And when we go to African clients, it also depends on which type of client you have. And and I want to say this in a very like natural way. It is a different, also in South Africa, if you have, let's say, an Afrikaans like background client, or if you have a client that comes from a colored or like a black background, they expect different things as luxury. I just wanted to say that, and we define luxury like in terms of price wise, like as an entry level, like almost close to what Christina said. We break it down per person actually, rather than saying this is an overall thing, because per person I think we can work better to say, okay, it starts maybe by $500 per person and it go up to whatever it needs. But when you ask me like how COVID has affected, maybe Alfie can also say something about that. It has affected our business, our industry, and particularly here in Africa, because like for now in South Africa, we are still in lockdown 3 of stage of 5, like stage 3 of 5. So international clients might only be able, and I can just say this almost like 100% sure, by February, March next year. So until this, the entire industry is affected to COVID.
Okay. So you wanted to say something, Elfie?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say generally, I mean, luxury for people who are like used to luxury will not change due to COVID, you know? So it is something that obviously like has put things on hold for the planning process maybe, or for us as planners, where we just have more time now to actually make this dream wedding much more perfect than it would have been in any case already. But people who expect luxury will not pay less.
Hi, thank you. How are you? Here in Kenya.
Hello. Stanley, you've muted Sylvia. Stanley, Sylvia, we cannot hear you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who unmuted me, but no problem. So what I mean is just luxury will not change due to COVID. So people will expect the same things, the same quality, and even more, because we have now more time to actually plan their perfect day.
Wow, amazing. Marcy, Bella Niger, you guys are trend watchers. You write about trends, you talk about luxury weddings on your platform. What were some of the biggest trends that were emerging before COVID? And what are the biggest trends you're seeing emerge right now in Nigeria with COVID?
Thank you very much, Catherine. Yes, you're right about us being the biggest trend watcher. I know that, you know, lots of months ago, now it feels like 2 years and 1 year. We definitely we're actually already seeing like the rise of a bit of intimate styled wedding. And I think COVID kind of just COVID just pushed that out a lot more, because now people are actually, you know, shifting towards that. And I know recently there was a very small celebrity wedding. I think the celebrity is from East Africa, but she got married to a Nigerian. And it was a very small house wedding type of thing. And we know that because of COVID, most likely people would be embracing a lot more smaller styled luxury type of thing. I feel like Bisola can even talk more on this, because I know she's a very major wedding planner in this side of the continent. And so we've been observing that a lot, and people pay more attention to their looks, you know, things that they can actually control, as opposed to the venue size or you know, people that they can have for the wedding. So now either their looks, their, you know, from their face to their outfits, to how gorgeous their bouquet looks, to how beautiful or gorgeous their entire decor looks. So even if you might be in a parlor, like in a small sitting room or even in their garden, but it would have a very, 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 very luxe effect. So we're seeing people pay more attention to things that they can control, so still having like luxury, however, just in a way that was not how it was initially represented. Initially, the number of people that attend the wedding, how awesome you feel when you come into the space, and also now it's totally different because things are definitely changing. So it's just luxury, but from what I'm responsible for, what I know that the government does not have that level of control over. Like, you cannot tell me what I wear for my outfit. You can't tell me how my face will look. So COVID cannot affect all that. So they're just spending more money, spending more time on I would say more prolonged memories, because at the end of the day, when the way you look and how much you spend on how you look, or even the entire day, then documenting this experience in a very beautiful way that even after COVID, it will still be relevant to you. So yeah, so pretty much just repeating that luxury is now looking more from the intimate perspective, but also what couples can actually control. Thank you. That's what we are observing as a trend. Thanks, Kate.
Shiro, you haven't spoken. One, I want us to make us escape to one of the biggest weddings you've actually ever done that you consider luxury, and tell us if you think luxury as we know it is actually gone.
Hi, I actually don't think it is. I think that, as my peers have said here, we have more time to develop ideas, and the fact that we don't know if the numbers will go up or back to what we're used to. I believe the fact that the numbers will get smaller, it means that we'll be able to inject more details, therefore more luxury. Even the non-luxury bride might actually end up wanting to have the luxury because, granted, budgets will allow. Like, for instance, in Kenya, we are currently allowed to have up to 15 people in a wedding. Supposing a bride was going to have the bride was going to have a wedding, but with maybe 100, 200, even 1,000 people. So you can imagine all those funds concentrated back will go back to what you were saying, the value per person will automatically make it luxury. And I think it's a rebirth. I think after COVID, I feel that due to doing small weddings after COVID, people will end up just wanting to see more beautiful as they're currently concentrated. Yeah. Over to you, Catherine.
Okay, I'll ask you the other question later. I just want to remind the viewers, we have quite a number of people watching us on YouTube. So if you have a question, just write it in the comment section and they will be answered, because I know you cannot participate in the main participants. I've seen Susan has arrived fashionably late. So Susan, welcome, but I'm going over to Lucia. We are really talking about, Lucia, are you ready now?
Yes, I am. I believe. Let me try and start my video.
Great. Miss Luxury. Paint the picture for us. You paint a picture for us about luxury in Africa.
Okay.
Give us an overview.
Okay, so I will sort out my video as we go on. For now, since I see that the discussion is getting very, very, very interesting, I can hear that. And it's important to note a few things. I think first we should all note, because I hear a lot of, and I understand, I mean, this is a wedding setup. So of course there will be a lot of expenditure. But really, I mean, from where I sit, in this case, Nairobi, when we are talking about luxury in general, we are just not talking about expenditures, expenses, simply because, especially talking about weddings, it doesn't mean the high net worth individuals are investing more in weddings. I think that's one thing like we need to understand, that not everyone who spends this amount of money falls under whether high net worth individual or ultra high net worth or a millionaire or a billionaire in this case. So a few things, I think that's very important to note, because when we are looking at, for example, we can talk about like the last report, which was produced by Afro-Asian Report, which talked about that in the last 10 years, there's been a rise of up to 14% of wealth held in Africa, you know, and we estimate that the African luxury sector is going, as at 2018, it was already 6.1 billion US dollars. But it's not necessarily that these are the people who are spending their wealth on weddings. Please not. Because when you look at, for example, like the Kenyan market, you find that the people who are actually spending the most on luxury, or rather on expensive, I wouldn't say luxury, because when we are talking about luxury, we are talking about exclusivity, timelessness. I mean, you can have a 10 people wedding, but it's the real definition of luxury that say, for example, I guess when we are talking about weddings, we are also talking about things like where the flowers are coming from, you know, what is the service and what kind of service, you know, it's not a buffet, everything is plated, you know, it's all these kind of details that really define luxury, but not exactly the en masse, you know. And I think that's the one thing, like I would like to hear from all of you, because when I hear the definitions of what stands, it's about the number of people, but I'm thinking, no, if I was an ultra high net worth individual, surely I'm not looking to have a wedding. Even 200 people is a lot, you know. I'm looking at more exclusive, more, and I would like to understand which point of luxury are we talking about here. Are we talking about the expense, or are we talking about the definitions of the exclusivity and what per person is spending and on what? Maybe I think someone who I heard bring that out was Sylvia. Maybe what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, my thoughts is I totally agree with you. Luxury, I mean, luxury is a definition that everyone has to define for themselves. So for one is luxury a very like a diamond ring. For somebody else, they define luxury by a beautiful experience of a holiday. You know, everyone has a different definition of luxury. But I personally, or I mean, Alfie maybe can also add something to that. I see that most people in these days define luxury by more experience. I mean, like we, just as an example, we had a couple from Dubai. They went on, this was their luxury. They went with us to plan a wedding in Lapland. So we had minus 35 degrees. Everybody was covered in warm clothes, and the wedding was held in an ice chapel, the ceremony. That was luxury for them. Somebody else would have might said, no, it's not luxury for me. But for them, it was luxury, and everything around was luxury, even though there were no Rolls Royce or no like luxury defined things, but it was luxury to them. And they put all their money into this experience together with their family and friends. And they invited, I think we have been the first company that brought fresh flowers to the Polar Circle. So this alone was a challenge for us to organize the fresh flowers to go to this place. And this all is part of the luxury experience that we gave this couple. And maybe Alfie can also tell a little bit about what is your opinion about that?
I mean, planning also weddings in Dubai, maybe this might be luxury for a lot of people, like from an outside perspective. I mean, luxury has amazing 5-star properties, has an amazing service standard, has a lot of things that a lot of people are considering maybe luxury. But I also, and I agree that luxury to a certain extent is in relation to exclusivity, at least from the point how, like, I understand it. Do you have an exclusive chef, for example, for like that you fly in somewhere that is really like doing maybe only 10 events a year, then this is to a certain degree for a lot of people luxury. Do you have a couture dress, for example, that a designer does where he only does 3 wedding like dresses per year? This is exclusive luxury. But I think that is a matter of definition again, like for a lot of people, like in our at least area where we do destination weddings, and maybe also like for a lot of people who do destination weddings like Christina as well, luxury does not have to do with the number of guests. It's not like the more like people you can invite, the more expensive is also going to be. No, you can have a relatively small number of guests and you have the per head expenditure much higher than obviously on bigger number of guests. But for example, for Middle Eastern weddings, it is important to have a lot of guests at your wedding. This is luxury. If you can have about 1,000 guests at the wedding, this is to show people that this is a luxurious event. For Middle Eastern like clientele, like 100 guests or 200 guests is not a wedding, you know? So that's why, like, I think the definition of luxury is also like, you also need to consider like your cultural background for that. Like, this is a very big point. For example, for me, for a European perspective, luxury is something completely different when I'm talking to someone here in Africa, and even in South Africa, it's again completely different. But again, I also agree, luxury and exclusivity is obviously something that relates to each other. Thank you, Catherine.
Wow. Later on, I'll be coming back to you to talk about, you know, luxury exclusive flowers. Susan, you just joined us. Are you ready now to introduce yourself and tell us who is your typical client, luxury client in Kenya today?
Typical. Okay. Hello, everyone, and apologies for logging on late. Susan.
Yeah.
From another question, you want me to be my target client, my target luxury client?
Yeah. Who is your typical luxury client? Who walks through the door?
Typical is someone who's well educated, well traveled, well exposed, and does not necessarily look at the price tag and appreciate quality over quantity.
Okay, and introduce yourself.
Susan, Infinite Planners, one of the wedding companies or wedding boutique companies in Kenya who do across spectrums, luxury weddings, destination weddings, and really small niche weddings.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us. So, yeah, Uganda, Shamim. Yeah. Yeah, I want to ask you a question. Sylvia raised something really important in terms of, in some cultures, that in some cultures, Susan, please mute your mic. Mute yourself, and panelists, please mute yourselves. Or yeah. So Shamim, the question is that you know what Yes Exclusive have said, luxury sometimes depends on the culture. I have seen really big Ugandan weddings. Is that what is considered as part of luxury?
Yes, part of it is the numbers, because people who want to consider themselves to have had a luxurious wedding will start from about 800 guests upwards. And then they'll want that level of detail for all those guests, like a lot of detail, the same detail you do for 200 guests, they would want it for those 1,000 guests and over. So I guess it depends on the client you're working with. Some of them will come and want something very exclusive for a very small number, about 100 guests, 200 guests. We have those as well. And as the rest said, it's really not about money. As you saw, the budgets I gave you, extremely low. But you're able to give them that experience anyway. So it depends on the client and what they ask for.
Okay.
So it depends on the client's definition of luxury for us to come up with something for them.
Okay. So later on, I'll be coming back to you to talk about in Kenya, we call them harambes and all that. I don't know what you call them later on.
What are those?
You know, the pulling together of the money. But I want to go back to South Africa and talk to Christina Holt. So I think all of us really truly have understood what luxury is. It's not just about money, but money is a really big indicator of luxury. There are very many other things. That's what I was trying to get out for some of our viewers to understand. It's not just about money we are talking about. There's all these things that come in. So let's come back into the business side of the business. Christina, someone has talked about exclusivity. But exclusivity in itself, in this time of when we look at where our client is, yes, we want our clients to dream. That's why exclusivity is really important. It's exclusive and you can dream to just have that chef who will come once in a year and just cook for only 10 weddings. But on the other hand, there's where the world is. Our client has changed. COVID is changing them. What should luxury brands, wedding brands be doing right now to be able to reach this market? Christina.
Are you talking, sorry, just to understand you, are you talking about the planners? What should the luxury brands, is what you said?
Yes,
okay.
What should we be doing now?
I mean, the key thing for me is to stay relevant. I know that's a term that's been used a lot and everywhere, but just make sure you are seen, and you're seen across the board with what you can do. You know, there's no point us promoting at this point maybe all the massive weddings that we've done over the last few years, but rather focus on the trend we're seeing, which is more towards the intimate celebration. So I think that's one of the things, just to stay relevant in the market, that shows that you're adjusting to the times. I think there's a big awareness and waking up of our clients in a different way. So in other words, if they still, you know, they will still be luxury clients, but for them, I think it's the appreciation of us, of our industry understanding that. So therefore, the smaller touches will come to the forefront, is what I think, and that is what we need to be showing. So there's the empathy, there's the remaining somewhat flexible with your clients to a point, whether it's around financials, around expectations, and maybe pushing yourself into a realm that you haven't pushed yourself into before, you know, because we were all quite comfortable in the way we did things. Let's face it, I think nobody was, you know, we've had our systems set up and the way we worked and with our teams and all of that, and that's being massively challenged. So I think the key thing for all of us internally is also to find new ways of communicating with whoever we work with our extended partners in the industry, and so that we can grow together. I'll give you one example. For instance, we've reached out to a number of our key venues here in South Africa over the last 2 months to see what can we do together to capture the market in a more relevant way. That could be something as simple as saying, all right, here we've got a venue that normally hosts, let's say 300 guests. That could be their maximum capacity. It's very popular, it's beautiful. Now that venue might only be able to host 100 guests in 4 months or 5 months, if at all. What can we do together to become creative and make it easier for our clients to envision their day with all these restrictions in place? You know, have we started looking at doing really cool floor plans that show this venue how it could be used for, I don't know, 100 guests or whatever the number might be? Have we started thinking of really exciting marquee floor plans if someone still wants 1,000 guests? Now, how big does that marquee have to be? So really adapting in our mind with a level of creativity, connecting that back to our, what I say suppliers, but for me they're all partners, and see what we can do together to literally capture the audience before they ask, to be ready. So I don't need to be asked, so what are you going to do when, you know, what are you going to do when the regulations are in place? And we don't then have to go and reach out and ask. We will just say, well, we've already done our homework. Here are 5 amazing ideas on how we would handle your wedding in this location during these times. Just to get creative around flows, floor plans, ideas. I hope that helped.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Christina. You're saying get creative. It's not a holiday. Let's get creative and see what we can do with our clients. Bisola, you know, the beauty of having a panel like this, that I know everybody individually. So Bisola, I had a conversation with you and you had some very interesting thoughts on what we should be doing. Unmute yourself, please. Bisola?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, what should we be doing? What should luxury brands like ours should be doing right now?
Okay, so I want to start by first of all, you know, me, I like to inspire people. I want to first start by saying that we all, first of all, need to remember why we decided to be event planners in the first place. For someone like me, I definitely wanted to have my niche in the luxury market. And this period, more than ever, has challenged me to be able to evolve as a creative. So we must all try. We must know that as event planners, we have that superpower to try and evolve and think ahead. What is the way forward? The way weddings were done in the 80s is way different from how it was done in the 90s. So it evolved from how it was done in the 80s into the 90s, and people adjusted. The same way, now things have changed. So as creatives, the reason why we are great at what we do, the reason why we would thrive and continue to do well is because we're able to adjust to the now. And now, in adjusting to the now, we need to make sure that we stay focused in, if we say we want to attract the luxury market, what is the demand right now? Okay, for example, in Nigeria, we are allowed to still have events for 20 capacity. So in terms of that, I know that if I still want to stay relevant, I have to either do two things. Well, I'll say three. Make sure that first of all, you educate yourself properly on all the things you can do right now. Do researches. What are the requests? What is allowed to be done right now? Some people are requesting to have 2 to 20-man capacity court receptions. They want to still have it in their sitting room. Some people are saying that they want to receive booking a private chef to come and entertain their 10-man capacity guests. They want to have their reception in their house or in a small hall somewhere. They want you to transform their space into fine. They were supposed to have a destination event before. Now they cannot go. So what can you do? As a creative, I can transform that space into something that will make them feel as if they're in Mauritius. I can have sound room entertainment that will make them feel as if they are there. I can still have a private chef come in and take care of those 10-man people and still make them feel that, you know, they're having, you know, something exclusive and unique. I can still have an MC come either virtually or be present to crack nice jokes, entertain them, luxury music. I can have the violinist or happy still come, you know. So things like that, I had to go into that, you know, my inner conscience to realize that luxury can still happen right now, even more than ever. The details can even be far beyond expectations. You can take them to anywhere in the world, wherever they are. All you need to do is go back into your creativity and think, what can I do? And I'm talking about even people that are allowed to still have, because I don't know how other countries, some countries, they're not even allowed to have any type of event at all. But I say that even if it's just 2 to 4 people, you can still create an experience. You just need to make sure that if they said that they want to go ahead, because people are targeting, Nigeria, most people cancel, they postpone. And if they come to you to ever let them know that it can happen, they can still have a nice invitation sent out to people, customized with a video invitation, inviting people and saying, oh my God, I know you can't make it. Can you join me virtually? However, and the people that are going to be present, you can still have create an experience via invitation. Even when they come in, what they see, you can have a small backdrop that is beyond amazing. Themed, it can even be themed, you know? So as creative, we have to just think outside the box right now so that we can still stay relevant and also put ourselves out there. This is not the time to be quiet. This is the time to share knowledge. This is the time to empower young people that are coming up, because some people are giving up on events. Some people feel, oh my God, I can't adjust to the new norm. It's too much for me. Where do I start from? No, this is the time where they need top event planners, people they've been looking up to come up and encourage them and let them know, no, don't give up. There is hope. More than ever, there's a celebration every single day. Every day, someone is doing their birthday. Every day, someone is doing something. So now in the wedding space, we need to try and encourage people that if you don't want to wait, you don't have to wait. We can still take you there. We can still give you the experience of a lifetime. Whether it's 2 people, whether it's 4 people, whether it's 10 people, whether it's 20 people, whether it's 50 people, we can still take you there. Go ahead, do that celebration. And for those people that want to wait, no problem. Let's just make sure that we're managing them, letting them know that the dates might be postponed, but love is not postponed. Love is not canceled. They will still have the celebration of a lifetime. Let's carry them along. Let's know that let them see us thrive right now. Like things like this, when a lot of my clients knew that I was going to come and speak on an African platform, they were so happy. Oh my God, I love that. It makes them feel like there's hope. It makes them feel like, you know what, we're all coming together, and surely there's going to be positivity that will come out of it. So I think about the positive side of it. I know that even now, more than ever, a lot of people are making money. So in this space, let us try and make sure that we do what we have to do. If you have to go into rentals, people are renting things. You can have your DIY, deliver, package your decoration, and deliver it to people that want to celebrate, do some kind of 2-man celebration, cut reception. They call them the micro weddings. You can put together different packages and still have it be luxury, still have it be exclusive. How is it delivered? How is it packaged? Do they see when they open up something? I mean, we are amazing people here. We are amazing people. We can do it.
Thank you. So I want to come back home, and I'm looking at Fatima. Fatima, what have you been doing? As a luxury brand, what have you been occupying yourself with?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say, Bisola, really good energy. So much positivity. You just made my day. So basically, yeah, I think I agree a lot with some of the points that she said. And we've been doing them as well back home here. As I told you, the first month when it hit us, we were all in shock. You know, our clients especially, they were so disturbed. We had to postpone weddings. We had to, be empathic to our clients to make them understand that it's not the end of the world. They will get married or they will have their events. So I think the first month it was just trying to realign ourselves and, listen to our clients and be there for them. That's what I did. Then we started looking at ways to still have smaller, intimate events. I mean, for Kenya, we've been allowed about 15 people. So, and we'll still have, if you look at like not only weddings, but people will still have birthdays, anniversaries. And these are kind of like events you can't postpone. You still have to basically celebrate them. So we found a way of doing like, as Bisola mentioned, like DIY kind of like packages for our clients where we can just deliver to them items that they can decorate themselves. We've also come up with like custom backdrops for our clients where we prepare them in our stores and we just deliver it to them where they don't need to have so many people at their house. We can just send like one person to just go and put it up just to maintain the safety and hygiene as well. We've also started, showing our clients that if you want to have a small celebration at home, we can still provide something beautiful. We can still do something like bespoke for you. Since we're talking about luxury, luxury doesn't mean that you have to have like the Kenyan way of doing things, like, for most of the high-end clients that we do. I think for most of them, it's about having like 1,000 people at the wedding. But now the mindset has to change. The mindset has to move on now to the new, post-COVID that we are going to be experiencing in a few months, where luxury will all be about the experience that we are going to give the guests. You can have a small wedding, you know, give them something really beautiful. You don't have to have like, you know, 1,000 people who you don't know. Rather, you can have 100 people who you really, you know, who really matter to you. And actually, you know, in Kenya, I've noticed a lot of couples who come to us, they want to have small weddings, but because of pressure from, you know, parents and pressure from the elders, they have to invite 800 more people who they don't even know. So now I think it's given them a good, you know, like a good excuse to have the smaller wedding that they've always dreamed of. Still spend maybe not what they, I would say it's a bit far-fetched to think that a client who maybe will, what they were initially going to spend for 1,000 packs will want to spend for 100 packs. I don't think so. I mean, they'll probably cut down on a few, you know, things, because you're not going to have 100 floral arrangements. You'll probably have 10 floral arrangements. But now they'll probably want to spend on things like music, that, you know, when you have 100 people and when you have 1,000 people, for 100 people, you can, you know, you can do something more, you know, when it comes to music, you can do something that people enjoy. Whereas when you have 1,000 people, you have to do something that, you know, that is kind of like goes across the board. So you're not really doing personal experiences. You're doing something that's more mass market. So now I think, like for us Kenyans, it's going to be more about the little things that we've always wanted to do. So as a wedding planner in Kenya, I think it's going to be a really good, I've looked at it positively. There's going to be a good time for us to do what we really wanted to do for our clients, you know, that experience that we always wanted to give our clients. Now I think I can do that, like those little, you know, favors that you want to give your guests, you know, the little, you know, the private chef that you want to call, you know, so many small things that we've always dreamed of doing. I think now we can actually fulfill that dream for ourselves and also for our clients. I'm really looking forward to that. Actually, already we're getting so many requests for small weddings, and they've been so nice. I mean, you know, the small details, you know, that's what I think most of our clients are looking forward to. And I think as wedding planners, we have to be innovative, and we have to change with the times. There is no looking back and crying over the fact that, oh, you know, now what are we going to do? I think let's look ahead, and we're such a strong community of wedding planners. We need to come together. Our vendors need to support us at this time, and we need to come out of this and come out strong. Because the first thing people are going to do after Corona is going to be to get married. So let's just, you know, be positive about it.
Wow. Fatima, thank you so much. You know, the other day, I was just thinking, not even thinking, I saw some, there's a company that is trying out some vaccines, and if they're successful, it means by December, just means, I don't know, you have to listen to the Ministry of Health, what they say, but just me thinking, if a vaccine comes out, can you imagine all the weddings that have been postponed, and next year's weddings? My goodness. Next year is gonna be a big year. Just to encourage anyone who is feeling down at the moment, it's gonna be a big year for the wedding industry. Now, let's now get to matters branding. Shiro, I had a conversation with you the other day, and we were talking about how much more important right now we need to tell our backstories. Because for a very long time, when people think about, at least in the Kenyan context, I don't know about South Africa, Nigeria, but when you think about weddings and people spending all this money, it's seen sometimes in certain circles as frivolous, as superfluous. How can you be spending that amount of money? But even so now, when COVID has shown us there are some differences sometimes in the society. There are people who are actually able to isolate, and there are people who are not able to isolate because they have to go to work every day. If they don't go to work, they will not be able to put food on the table. So as luxury brands, and I think any luxury brand needs to tell its story better. Shiro, how well then should we be telling our own stories so we can still remain relevant at this time?
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. So you will find that in a lot of, in our spaces, when you're doing luxury wedding, you will find the odd person who comments, you know, what a waste of money for just one day. And what I'm urging my peers in the industry is that it's a lot of money in one day, but it goes into helping quite a lot. Like for instance, in Kenya, we recently visited Tambuzi, which is a flower farm that does wedding flowers. So when you think, when you're selling your, when you're telling your brides about, sorry, I don't know, I just lost my train of thought. So when you're telling your brides or your, yeah, when you're telling your brides about, Catherine, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm one of those planners. I'm always behind the scenes, so pardon. I'm not
well, don't worry. No pressure.
All right, so let me compose myself. So what I want to say is this. So when you're selling your brand and explaining to people why they need to spend what they need to spend, the backstory is that our luxury weddings support quite a lot. They help a lot of families put their food on the table. So when you're talking about florists or flower farms, by somebody agreeing to pay a certain amount of money towards flowers or towards a fancy tent or towards, you know, the many aspects that come together for a wedding, it's good to sell our brand and communicate that it's not only the planners that are going to make this money or this person has this money to waste. It's more so we contribute quite a bit to the economy. Like for instance, we recently did Mother's Day flowers. And one of my previous couple wanted to order like fantastic arrangements for their parents, both the sets of moms. And they kept on going on with the list of how they wanted the flowers done. So they got bigger and bigger. And of course, bigger and bigger meant more and more expensive. So they call me back. They're like, you know, you got to give us a discount. So I told them, actually, when it comes to right now, when it's COVID, you buying this flower means that we're able to put a salary on our employees' tables. And instantly they were like, wow, don't say anymore. So it's good to explain what our work goes into. It's not about the big production, it's the people who put it up also help. We help build the economy. So I guess to answer your question, Catherine, is that how do we package our brands? Package your brand is that, yes, I can do these beautiful installations, but above that, I can also, I also employ quite a lot. I give back to the economy. And it's not only about, beautiful people got drunk. No, there was a bartender who was able to probably put their child to school. There was even the cleaning crew, for crying out loud, like they are able to come and clean after us. And all that put together is what sometimes we need to tell about the back end of the luxury, is that we also give back quite a bit. Yeah, I hope I answered you, Catherine. Yeah.
Yes. That is a good. You know, Susan, I'm coming to you. Susan is an alumni of Stanford Seed, together with myself. So, Susan, are you there? Susan Minor, are you there? I think she's taken up by something else. But, you know, we agree that when people are making luxury purchases, usually they are psychological purchases. And yes, we need to tell better backstories. I like the story of Tambuzi. I love, I think if you went on our YouTube channel, you'll see what we posted. I truly love their backstory. Scented flowers, organic, and they actually really empower the community. Lucia, as we wait for Susan to be ready, Lucia, are you there? Lucia Musau, you're there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, why is it important for luxury brands to tell these backstories? In general, not necessarily wedding, but because you manage many other luxury brands, why is it very important that we should tell our backstories?
We say that when someone buys luxury, they are just not buying the product. They are buying the augmented product with everything, with the story, the craftsmanship. It's a whole bundle of benefits that make it luxury. It's not just the product. And that's why your story is part of what makes you luxury. the same way that your craftsmanship. And I like what, I really like the energy that Bisola gave. And I also like what Fatma said, like take this time to connect with your audience. To be honest, the digital contact is here to stay. So the sooner you blend in and start communicating your value and what you offer over and beyond just the wedding, like who are you? What is Samantha Bridal, for example? How did Samantha start? All these years, these are years of experience, years of craftsmanship, and years that make us want to sit here and be part of what you're doing. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, it does answer it really well, that people are not just buying the brand, you know, just because you put a certain price point, you offer certain experiences. They are also buying your backstory. So we need to showcase more about this. Susan, are you there? Or she's logged out. Now, reason being that at one point I struggled to explain exactly what need is our brand feeling in the community. Oh, Susan, you're there. Susan Minor.
Sorry, please repeat. Yes. My internet was acting up. Go ahead.
We were talking about telling our backstories better.
Yes.
And why as luxury brands, we need to tell stories, and it's very, very important. And I was just talking about, I told them you're an alumni from Stanford Seed, and why we have to find out why clients buy from us. And I sat there and I realized we as an industry actually contribute to the happiness index of the nations, which is equally really important. Mercy is here. I'll come back to you. I'll come to you, Mercy. You know, without weddings in Nigeria, I don't know what they would be doing. So why is it important for us wedding brands now to tell our backstories?
More than ever, given what we're going through, I think before it was pretty self-explanatory. We kind of knew what our brand stood for, and we kind of already knew who our target audience were and our luxury clients, and they just walk through the door and you negotiate and you start servicing and supplying them. But right now, I think we've had to go back to, I think we've gone to reset, like factory settings, and we're having to kind of redefine who we are, because I think also our luxury clients are going to change. I had Fatima mention that now we cannot expect that our luxury clients are going to be business as usual, given the pandemic and moving forward. So we first need to know what we are worth, what our brand is, what our brand stands for, and then we need to communicate that to our clients or our potential clients, and for people who want to understand what luxury means now during this pandemic and moving forward. So for us, I think we're tending to find that now we're focusing more on detail. I've had people mention price, and I think if we stay rigid, it's going to be very difficult to attract the clients that we've always had. So we have to find a delicate balance between value for what our clients know us to be and be able to deliver, and also be a bit flexible in terms of how and what we deliver within a pricing that we'd like to call luxury, which we have to redefine as different wedding planners and as an industry in the different countries we're in, because luxury is different in the West, in the South, and in East Africa.
Great.
Thanks.
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yes, Bisola.
Okay, so I wanted to answer that question, and I think that more than ever, putting out your backstory is important, because it serves as a connection. They feel connected to you. They appreciate your work process more. They know that you're coming from something. Letting them see how you produce something from nothing, how you have come from, built up something from the scratch to how it became phenomenal, the before and the after, how your team members work, how they relate. Let them feel that connection, and in the process, psychologically, like Shira said, it helps them to start pricing you upwards. So when they did not, so let me give you an example. Before, when I did not used to have like a back-end story, people used to try and price me lower. But the moment they were able to see all the work, because sometimes they don't even understand that work, the process that goes into it. They just feel like, oh, it's not just to hire your vendors and just come on the day and execute. Some of them don't really understand the process, how people, the meeting members, how hectic it can be, how it goes from day to day. Sometimes you have crises at the venue and you're like, oh my God, is this event going to go as well as possible? So sometimes they don't see all that. And when you put that in their face most of the time, it makes them feel like, okay, it is worth it because this person is going to put in commitment into my event and they're willing to pay more. So when they were going to pay you $10,000 before, now you might even be more, because they are so impressed about how amazing you are. You can start charging even your $30,000 or your $15,000, depending on how much you charge, depending on what country. So the mindset is very important. You need to, it's a psychology thing. You have to make them, convince them why they have to pay much to you, why you deserve to get that much more, because you're giving them peace of mind and they know with you, they don't have to go anywhere else. You have it covered. So yes, it's very, very important.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So still in Nigeria, Mercy, are you there? Mercy?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so, you know, I think all over the world, you see, especially for people who are aspiring to get into the luxury level, but even people are spending on luxury products to signal their status and the power in the society. And given what big trends are you seeing? Do you think post-COVID, your clients just on the Bella Niger platform, not just brides only, but also the others, do you think they're still going to want to use brands to show their status? I hear you're the biggest consumers of Moet and Chardon, for example.
Okay, but I actually want to just say, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
I can hear you.
So I actually want to just, before I respond to your question, just touch a bit on what Bisola just shared. Even after sharing your entire story and your entire process online, it's still very important for you to leverage wedding brand medias like our own, because, for example, you might have 50,000 followers, 20,000, 100,000 followers, or 500,000 followers on your own social media. And then, however, leveraging big wedding brands like ours also further expands the work that you do, the process of what you do internationally. So I know that there's a huge power in having to leverage brands that spotlight the work that you do. So definitely post-COVID, honestly, it would be very tough to say what the situation would be like, but I know that intimate weddings would become a lot more popular. That's something that I know that would definitely happen. Even if the Nigerian government, I know in a couple of weeks, I think maybe even next week, they're opening up religious centers. However, like maybe event centers might actually come up next and everything, but I don't think that they would expand it so much so to the number of people that we actually have attend events and everything. However, like, that intimate vibe will still happen. I think people will still want to leverage, even currently what we're seeing, even during the pandemic, we actually are seeing lots of wedding vendors also share and spotlight, what they do, pretty much ensuring that there's top of mind, because after COVID, you still want to make money. You still want to actually have people come and patronize you. So we're seeing them also leverage brands like ours a lot. And I know that post-COVID is even going to be a whole lot more. I would just say that for wedding vendors, planner space, or you fall in the wedding space, I would just say that you definitely need to find ways to leverage wedding digital media brands like us, because we tend to spotlight it more. So even if it's as little as paying an investment, maybe as little as like paying for like an ad or something, it tends to go a long way. Even if maybe you are freely spotlighted, it actually goes a long way. We've gotten people reach out and say, oh wow, I got to use this vendor because I saw them spotlighted on your own platform. So we know the power of what platforms like ours, specifically Bella Naija Weddings, actually represent, and we are always very grateful to God for that. However, we know that it's important now more than ever to actually have, for wedding vendors to actually find ways to leverage this, because when this is over, you definitely still want to make as much money as possible. You definitely still want to be known as the person winning in whatever space you are, in whatever part of the continent you are. So I don't think it will go like particularly low. I think it will even increase, because it's actually like a food chain. It's like, you know, it's actually very important for all brands. So yeah, that's in response to your
Thank you
question.
very much. South Africa, be ready, don't log out. I'm coming to you, Christina. I'm coming to ask you a question, and Sylvia. But right now, in Uganda, what's going on in Uganda right now? Are you open for business? What is allowed that can happen in terms of weddings?
Okay, so right now in Uganda, we have, it started at 20 guests, but we're currently at about 100 guests. So we're able to set up weddings. We have a few restrictions, like we're only allowed to have 5 people per table, a 10-seater table. We have just 5 people there. So if you're doing an 100 people wedding, you set it up as if it's like 200 people. So the weddings are starting from maybe 11 midday till about 6 p.m. or some people are just stopping at 4 p.m. because they have to make it home before curfew. But basically right now, clients are just slimming down the weddings, but they haven't stopped booking. Then some of the clients walked away, obviously, when all this happened, because their vision was to have really big weddings. So the small weddings don't work for them. Some of them postponed, some of them decided not to have a reception at all, just go civil and let go of the whole event, the whole celebratory part of the event. So currently we're doing a few weddings. At least we've had about 3 since the lockdown. We're having the small numbers, more detail. People are willing to pay about half of what they were paying before, but for the smaller number. So we're able to work around it and do something pretty for them as well.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So now, but I'm going now down south, Christina. The other day we had a conversation, and you know, we got into discussing on matters pricing, on how luxury brands should actually price themselves. And one of the things you noted, I remember quite writing it, is that you'll be surprised how many people call themselves luxury brands, but when you actually go down to the books, they are not making money. And especially now, why am I bringing up this? Because I know very many people, in terms of many businesses, most of who are, this is a B2B webinar, so a lot of businesses are tuned in. We have almost 100 on Zoom, and on YouTube, we have another similar number watching. And because of what is happening right now, people are tempted, especially for luxury brands, they are tempted to lower the price, be flexible, but flexible, maybe not. What guidance can you give us in terms of when you're thinking of that flexibility? And why would it be a mistake to completely lower the price? Because then it ruins that value that perhaps you may have added.
Yeah, I think it is literally the $1 million question, to be honest, that we're all trying to maneuver. So I'll be quite straight up. We charge a percentage on our clients' budgets when we're not charging a fixed fee, but for us it's a percentage-based experience, which we are looking at changing a little bit more often in going forward, just because the market has shifted, I think, over the last few years, and how it used to be, everybody used to do that here in South Africa. Now it's quite different. But we're using a percentage value against the client budget to establish our charges. It's very transparent, it's very straightforward. However, we recognize that a level of flexibility might have to apply. Personally, I'm quite averse to the word "let's negotiate" because, you know, that's not really. I know Bisola is smiling over there. The Nigerians, they always negotiate with us, but that's not really what we do. Is we look at what an event entails. You know, how logistically challenging it is, how many people we have, is it 1 day, 3 days, 4 days, and we take all that into consideration and come up with possibly a figure where we have compromised a little bit and the clients still recognize that they are, you know, not paying the least they would possibly be paying with someone else. So there is a certain market we don't compete in either. If it's just if the price point is the start of the discussion, we often find that these are not our clients, you know, because it's really about what service do we deliver, how are we different, how do we charge for that particular service. If it's about finding the most cost-effective wedding planner, then that is not us in any case. So it's staying true to who you are in that sense as well, I guess. But the flexibility is going to be more crucial. We are also relooking contractual things at the moment, just because obviously what termination clauses and cancellation fees and all of that, and deposit payments, how that used to be a few months ago needs to just be tweaked a little bit now. So I would just recommend to everybody out there who's listening today to also look at that, because whilst we, you know, we may have to postpone a wedding 2 or 3 times, which I'm busy doing that right now for the 3rd time. So I'm starting over and over and over. I haven't charged my clients anymore because they're already so sensitive because of the pandemic. But how can we protect ourselves legally very well from something like that without being too rigid? I think that's an important thing we all need to sort of decide individually. But I always keep saying, if you fall in love with a certain fashion style, for example, and you really like, I don't know, Versace as a brand because you're flamboyant, you will have to pay Versace price. Meanwhile, you're going to get something that looks quite similar, maybe in Zara, you know, and then ultimately you have to decide, where are you going to go? Are you going to buy the backstory of how it was made and who it was made by and get a glass of champagne as you buy it? Or are you going to go to Zara, grab it off, try 15 things on and walk away with something that's a bit similar? So it's the client mindset ultimately that decides part of the financial journey.
Wow. Yeah, I like that comparison. The Versace and Zara. I love Zara though. Sylvia, tell us your perspective on this.
Maybe Alfie can just like a double step in.
When I say Sylvia, I mean all of you.
Yes,
yeah,
no
problem.
So we are one. Family business, no problem. No problem.
What people maybe tend to forget, and I mean, maybe I am pretty German right now, but how many hours go into a planning of a luxury wedding? If we're looking just at the figures as such, I mean, luxury wedding, usually you have to spend between 600 to 1,000 working hours to make a detailed luxury wedding come true, which is like about 4 months of straight working, you know? So this is the least that you actually need. We as wedding planners, we obviously like do something that is a service to our clients. And I think it is a service to our clients that is attached to a very personal space. You can be Zara or you can be Versace, but essentially you are buying into a personality and the story of your business. I think right now what the pandemic has maybe shown to a lot of people, before your brand has carried you as an owner. Now you have to carry your brand, which means you have to show up. You have to show up for your business. And I think this is very essential right now, that you as a business owner, whether it is in planning, whether you have a DJ company, sound, bakery, whatever it is, whether you are a plumber, but we're talking about luxury weddings. So right now, people are looking for personalities that they can trust, that will be there also post-pandemic, because the truth of the matter is that there will be a lot of companies that unfortunately will go out of business over this time. And there is also something that when I hear what Christina and maybe you have said is, not all businesses that deem to be luxurious have made a lot of money over the past years. This stretch now that we are living in now, we have to actually live from all the savings that we have made over the time, and which will carry us hopefully to a very soon post-COVID time. But this is also something that we all need to put into consideration when we are doing pricing. Pricing is not just for the moment. It is not a paycheck, not living from paycheck to paycheck. It is something that we need to really consider as a business. Wedding planner, this is a business. It is not something that we do for a favor for a friend. It is not something that we consider to just be there because it is. No, because we have a huge responsibility. We have a once of a lifetime event that we need to really make sure works and is in the mind of every single guest for years and years after the event. And this is, from my perspective, something that a lot of people, that I hope a lot of people also take now with them, and they don't lower the prices. They don't, because it will damage the entire industry. Right after this pandemic, we will go back to maybe even more expensive suppliers, because right now, when we, for example, also talk about pricing for flowers, we have 3 to 4 times more expensive cargo cost for flights to come into the country. So I cannot go and say, I will lower the overall budget of the wedding. And why should I, even on my personal, in my personal capacity, say I'm going to lower the budget for myself because I'm going to put exactly the same, if not more, effort and time into making this luxury wedding come true? This is something that I can just say, from my perspective.
And maybe just let me say or add 2 things. I mean, exactly this morning I had a discussion with a florist here. And she mentioned that because there's no wedding at the moment, they are doing bouquets and things like that to bridge the time until they can do weddings again. So, and I said to her, you have to be careful with your calculation. And she said, we discussed this, and she said when she looks into the books, what she made on a wedding, she made much more with the flowers right now, with the bouquets. And why is that so? Because we as a wedding florist, I'm saying we, because I'm more in the flower business, as a wedding florist, we want to make our clients' dreams come true. They come with these Pinterest pictures, and I'm not blaming any bride. They have no clue about the cost of flowers. They don't have to. But it is the responsibility of a wedding florist to tell them, listen, a current trend installation is not to get for $500 per one table. This is just not possible. Don't want to try to make it possible, because it's not good for you, it's not good for the industry, it's not good for the client, because you don't make money. Not only do this for the favor for to make the client happy, you have to make money. And exactly this is what I said, because we have, maybe if there is another problem in the future, hopefully not a COVID, but if there is a situation like that coming across our roads, we can survive from what we have made. And there's nothing wrong. I think in any other industry, it is allowed to make money, to have a profit. But when we in the wedding industry talk about profits, it is we have to hide that we make profit, because we are not allowed to do that. We do this for the beauty of an event, of the business. Yeah, we have to stop this. We have to make money. We are businesses, and we are allowed to make profit for the times, maybe for winter times, for bad times like now. And I think this is a very important a point, that we have to, like, we make the rules in the industry. And if we ruin our own rules, then it's actually up to us to say, we have to stop that. And another thing, just like shortly to add, it is very important for us, and as Alfie said, to show up as a face, like, of a brand, because business is done by people. And I mean, like, Christina is representing her company. People know Christina. They know the name of the company, but they know Christina as a person, and they want to do business with her, respectively with her company, but with her. And I think, and we recently, actually when the pandemic started, we thought we want to do something for our industry. And so we have spoken just a couple of days ago. We have created a platform for our industry, not only for the South African industry, but for our industry in total. We created a YouTube channel where we invite different businesses from the event industry, from cake maker, wedding planner,
like Catherine also.
Like Catherine, yes, exactly. Yes. Farms, flower farms, and a lot of others, to give the businesses a face and to let them talk about their business. And I think how we react right now, that will affect our business in the future.
Wow, that's really amazing. You know what, I really like what you've said. As an industry, we need to set the rules, especially the rules around pricing. Because what worries me is, as I talk to a couple of people, and I talk to people from all dealing with luxury, not so luxury, all that, there's gonna be a price war. And I just want to avoid that, especially for the industry, because everything is going up. So why should we be the ones to lower our prices? Which is why I started with, can we find a way to tell our stories better? And so I really love that takeaway from you, that we make the rules. Susan Miner.
Can I just add one more thing, just like 1 second? We also, like, particularly in our industry, and I hear this very, very often, we have to ask clients for their budget, to work according to their budgets. I think this is a big mistake, what a lot of people do. And then it comes to competition, and one goes with the quote to another one, and then it lowers down all our prices. We work, like, exclusively on budgets. And I was talking to a florist in Congo, like, yesterday. She asked me something, and I said, what is the client's budget? She sent me big, like, arrangements. And she said, there's no budget. I said, there's always a budget. You have to work according to a budget. Otherwise, you waste your time to work out something what maybe the client has never ever the budget for, or she has no idea how much it is. And you can always adapt your quotation, higher or lower, but you have to work in a certain way on a budget. And for me, as working with flowers, I recommend to have about 30% of the entire budget that goes towards flowers. So this is like a P thumb down, what is it? Calculation.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. That someone must at least know, which is what I tell people, you must be an educated consumer. Now, Susan, so you disappeared a little bit, but we're talking about pricing. So imagine there's this best car you always wanted to drive, and you've saved all your life, and now the time has come, you want to go and buy the car, and you go to the shop and you buy the car. And a few days later, you hear the price was reduced to even less than half the price. How would you feel? Would you patronize that business again? Would you ask them to go back again? We are talking about pricing and why the temptation may be very high right now for a lot of service providers, wedding planners to reduce the price, and why we want to say desist and resist.
First and foremost, I think the truth is, let me speak about the Kenyan industry. We are very competitive with each other. Like, we're so competitive that we're ready to literally undercut each other, regardless of what we're going to deliver to the client. So for the Kenyan wedding industry, I'd encourage people to learn how to competition. You cooperate, but you compete with each other fairly and amicably. I think everyone's work speaks for themselves. So there's no need to undercut, because end of the day, if we start defining the luxury wedding market at, let's say, $60,000, and then your next competitor comes because we're in a very desperate situation, a desperate season where everyone would rather have a client than not have a client, we start kind of bringing down the luxury tier. So what before was tiered off maybe at $60,000 has now come down maybe to $30,000. So as we stay within the luxury market and try to figure the delicate balance of delivering a luxury wedding and our price, I think it would be also good to come together and discuss as luxury wedding planners what is fair, so that if the bride decides to start shopping around, we will not, the discrepancy, it won't be that big between, let's say, Shiro, Fatima, and myself. Two, when it comes to pricing, I think none of us have ever been in this season. None of us have ever been in a situation where we are having to redefine our businesses, redefine our brands, resell ourselves for what we stand for, and also redefine our clients. Because I think, given so many industries and so many people have been affected by this COVID season, we're going to find a new group of luxury clients. We're going to find people who kind of will use this as for their benefit when they come forth to want us to plan their weddings. So we also have to be very careful how we trade in this season and moving forward. As suppliers, I think it will be unfair to quote pre-COVID prices. Is it something where we lower prices within range and then we come up within time, maybe in the next 12 to 24 months? Or do we redefine and then move with the seasons and the waves that unexpected waves and the economy, and see how we fare? Is something we need to discuss. But we definitely know, one, we need to not reduce the value of what a luxury wedding is, taking into account all the detail that goes into it. And also, two, discuss within each country. I guess for me right now, Fatima, Shiro, is to discuss where you're willing to cut off. Given if this one bride decides to shop with you, Shiro, or with you, Fatima, are you willing to undercut your counterparts to a point where you're going to redefine what the luxury wedding industry is?
Wow.
I think I'd like to say something to that, to what Susan just mentioned.
Fatima.
Oh, thanks. Yes.
Fatima,
I'd like to say something next.
Yes, yeah, we'll come to you, Fatima. Before you talk, because the question is actually yours. As you say what Susan has said, I also want to ask you, because there are many younger people also listening to this, and their entry strategy into the market would be maybe they do a lower level pricing, and then when they catch up, they will increase the price. What would you say to them? And I know we had some time ago, I was in a forum and you really spoke really well about this. I would like you to speak about that. Fatima?
Okay, I think, with this matter about pricing, I'd like to touch on a few things Sylvia mentioned. You see right now, okay, what is the purpose of any business? A business is there to make some money. We're not there to rip our clients off and make millions in a month or something, but we have to make enough money to sustain our businesses and sustain those who work for us. So these people will come and cut prices and undercut and take advantage of the situation right now. They're not going to last long. They'll probably, come up or maybe be known for a while, but then after a while, their books will show great losses, and they will have to basically come out of the business. Like what Susan is saying, that if today if a client comes to her and, for example, say she undercuts me, okay, fine, she'll get the client, but did she make money out of that client? Because at the end of the day, the brief that was given to me is the same brief that will be given to her. So unless she's a miracle worker and she can get the same vendor to give her the same item at half the price, there's no way that she's going to make money out of that client, unless you're going to like do something that is completely off the brief. So I think when it comes to even the younger generation who want to enter this business, they have to know that it's not an easy business. It's not just about making a beautiful wedding. It's about understanding the business, understanding your client, understanding that we all have to work together. It's not about becoming number one or number two or number three. Weddings are so beautiful, and the whole industry, to be honest, if we were all to come together and work together, it would be so beautiful to work together and actually support each other. And as I mentioned before, now is the time to come together and support each other, even across the continents. If this thing, say next year, once things settle down and people are going to be out to just, because that's actually my biggest fear, that people are just going to be out to just sabotage each other's businesses, because they'll be like, no, I have to get 10 weddings because last year I lost 10 weddings. But if we do that, then we're going to lose our clients' trust. People are going to be scared to hire wedding planners, because they'll feel that, no, now this planner, she just wants to make money. So clients will automatically opt for smaller weddings and cut budgets, because they know that people are now out to take advantage of them because of this whole situation. I think also for this industry, there are like 3 things we really need to do. We have to like realign ourselves. We have to realize that the times have changed, and we have to revive, the business in a way that's, good for not only ourselves, but also for our clients and also the whole industry at large, So that's my view on this matter.
Catherine, may I add, please?
Yes, yeah, sure.
If
you wanted, okay.
So, and just to add to what Susan and Fatima have said, we also need to remind ourselves that if you call yourself a luxury planner or a luxury decorator, it's not just the name, and it's not just because you can get flowers from Tambuzi. It also comes with like an understanding, a science that comes in putting things together and pairing them together. So with time, as the people that Fatima is saying about, they'll try and undercut you, and maybe they will, but with time, your work will sell itself because you're authentic, your brands, what to pair, what to put together. And that is what, at the end of the day, earned you luxury. And to speak to the entry people, nobody started luxury. We all started in Trizex, in internships, and we grew. And if you're passionate about it, eventually it will come through, and it will show you, your passion will show through to earn you the title luxury. And yeah, just to add that. Yeah, over to you, Catherine.
Wow, I love that.
Can I ask a question to maybe every one of you? Because while I'm listening to all of you, something goes through my mind. I mean, we all had our journeys, and also we had our hard way to learn how not to lose money, and maybe not to lose clients for a cheaper way because just somebody.
Can I say something?
How do you actually approach a client, and how do you secure your
You've been muted. I don't know why.
We have, what I said, when I look back, we have invested a lot of time by setting up a huge a quote, pages of pages with already, like we went to photographer to ask them, is this date still available? And then we put everything together. We said, this is what it is. And then the client took the quote and went to someone else and said, okay, can you make it cheaper? So this was our learning curve. Then we said, okay, we are talking to the client, and when the client is happy with what we do, because, and then it comes back to this moment, clients buy us as person, as brands. When they have seen we are capable to do this and that, they don't need to see more. They can actually commit to our work. So then we actually start to say, okay, we take a deposit, and with this deposit, we secure the time that we invest in setting up a quote. This deposit can be used as a real deposit if the client will still work with us towards the wedding, or it is a non-refundable payment against what we have done.
Our time.
Our time. That is in a certain way, like we have good experience with that. It is in a certain way avoiding that the client is moving around and shopping around with your quote, because he either is not willing to pay you, then it's what Christina said, it's not your client, because then he is still not 100% sure to go with you, and that's fine, it's no problem. Or he is committed to you, and then he's also willing to pay, and he is free to go away, but then you have been paid for the time that you invested, or he is going like finally with you on the entire event, and he has made a deposit towards the event. What is your like way of doing, securing your business? I would be very interested in how you all work.
I want to give a shout out to some people listening, some luxury planners listening to us. There's Chemtai Chemia. She's saying, imagine that. We should make money. I'm trying to, yes, we should make money, but we must consider ourselves valuable for our clients to value us. We bring life into gatherings. Thank you. Yes, exclusive. And Carol Yebe says, I love the piece of the puzzle. Yeah, something that you do. There is somebody else. There's quite some comments here. Elizabeth, she's saying that the conversation is quite rich, very inspiring, and there's a fantastic panel. We have Marion Obura. She says she loves this. Let's not ruin our own rules. Yes, exclusive. Christina Holt, there's a comment for you here. It's important for business owners to relook at their contracts and adjust these for the reason. Yeah. Someone has said, yes, she's finding that it's really, really important. Rose Kabebe, you're here. Great team, we are learning a lot. So people are learning a lot from what we are doing. Yeah, as we go on, I'll look at, I'll comment later. Uganda has been a little bit quiet. And then after that, I want Uganda, do you have any price wars in the luxury bit of the market? Shamim?
Yes, do you have any? Sorry?
Yeah, we are talking about pricing. And okay. The reason why we are bringing about pricing is because we suppliers could be, it's not just our clients who are scared about the future and the economic impact of COVID. We may panic and go into unnecessarily reducing our prices. What is the situation in Uganda?
Okay, so the situation here is, as it is, people are not paying so much money for even the luxury wedding, the so-called luxury that we have here. People are not paying that much already. So it's a situation where we're going with the same prices we had before and just reducing a little bit to account for those few guests that are taken out. Okay, about 100 guests. So it's not changing that much, and clients understand because Our quotations are very transparent. They see where all the money goes through the quotation. When she goes through it, we actually sit down, discuss every single aspect of the quotation in detail, so they know where their money is going. So if they take something out, then maybe the price can reduce. So if they're not taking anything out, there's nothing to be adjusted in the quotation. So that's where we are now.
In Uganda. Okay.
Yes.
Great. So just paying, it's almost 5 o'clock, so it's been 2 hours. Christina Holt, if you allow me to say something, then I give everybody an opportunity to give a parting shot. So Christina and I had a conversation, and I like what Susan said, that, you know, and even Fatima, this is the time to come together as a continent and really work together. And Christina, the other day, and I want you to talk about that it's easier for you to actually come into Kenya and talk about your secrets, and people will listen, than it is maybe for someone in Kenya to sit with the Kenyans and talk about the secrets. And it is easier for a Kenyan to go to South Africa or to Nigeria and talk about. Christina, talk about that. And she offered to actually come and just sit with us, and some of us can go there and share our secrets there. Talk about that, Christina.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think the competitive angle of our industry is what you lovely Kenyan ladies just talked about. Is the same in all our countries. I find it quite cutthroat here. I'm all about collaborations and reaching out to people. It's been a big challenge over the last years to do that, because I think really people don't necessarily want to do business with each other. They don't want to open up to that point. So I find it quite liberating to be able to start educating people and maybe sharing some of our pricing structures and how we do business. And so totally agree with Sylvia and Elfie that it is actually about business at the end of the day, and we love it. So the love and the passion is not in question, but yes, we want to make money. One day I want to retire, you know, and do lots of traveling. So that's the goal. I would love to come to other African countries. It's part of our growth strategy, if you like, over the next years, to share some of our successes and talk about the things that nobody talks about in our own country. How do we charge? How do we make money? How do we do it? What are our contracts like? How do we negotiate, so to speak? How does it actually work? Because, you know, with respect, I think we've actually done quite well, and I would love to share it, but I would honestly be a bit more reluctant to share it locally, apart from the handful of really close planning friends that we have here. I wonder, quick question for you guys, maybe, do you all know how you charge? We don't need to talk about the actual, but is there transparency in the market? Because there's no transparency here. So yes, I'm coming to Kenya, Catherine, and let's set up a seminar or something. And we can
I just wanted you to say it publicly so I can hold you accountable. So
no, I'm coming.
There's over 200 people listening to you. Okay, so the next question is to Lucia. There's a question that has come in for Lucia. What is the future of virtual and digital experience in luxury events? Lucia Msau, show your face, please.
Yes. Okay, so I think it's very important to note that today, as we sit here, I mean, look at us. There are 80 of us right here, right this moment, from all over the world. Before, if Catherine, you tried to book me today for this, I would have told you what? Chances are I'll be busy somewhere doing something. But you see, what is happening today, the C-19 situation has also offered us a lot of other opportunities that maybe would have taken another 5-10 years to be where we are. It has, I feel that one of the things that has happened because of COVID-19 is digital transformation, and it has affected all sectors across. It is no wonder that when you are luxury product or a service like the wedding, you have to embrace the digital. You have to look at how exactly do I fit in these digital experiences. Look at it this way. Today, there's someone somewhere who is going to choose to have a wedding today with only the 10 people that the government has allowed. How do you, as an event planner, then make sure that their families in South Africa, in Italy, in China, in Hong Kong, Singapore, can be part of the celebration? So, and that offers a new extra dynamics, which maybe many of us and never really looked at. But when you look at it, is an opportunity for a virtual experience, delivering virtual experience. For myself, like for us in PR, we've been, since the lockdown, we've been hosting virtual testings of different brands. And to be honest, it is working. We are even getting people who we would never get to come to our testings on normal times. And then just going back to the previous question, I think there's something I forgot to mention. One of the key things is, while you do this, you get an opportunity not only to tell your story as a brand, but to humanize it. People want to feel that we've been through this together and we are going to get this together. So you come out way stronger than even before. And since I also didn't get to mention something in your last discussion for the pricing, allow me to. I think one of the things is, as we discuss luxury, and all of you are here and you are all big players, the more divided you remain, the more you are going to fall. Because when you look at the pricing strategies of a lot of brands across the world, you benchmark for the target consumer and for the product category. If one of you today, I mean, when you look at it, if one of you decided to charge $5,000 less, and a second one and a third one, you are all affected in that entire product category. As a consumer of luxury, then I'll come and say, like, you know what, I understand they've got craftsmanship, they've got excellence, but look at it, the price point has just dropped by 5,000. It's a benefit to me as a consumer. You understand? And then there is another group altogether, which is the masstige, which is producing products and services for the mass, but positioning them as a luxury. So then you all end up in the same category. So therefore, by remaining divided, you are literally harming your entire category. I don't know whether that makes sense.
Gosh,
Thank you.
It makes a lot of sense. You know, I see it across, let me talk about Europe because I shop a lot there. Like they really work together. You go to one shop, you find a pendant of the same and a pendant of the same, different, and the price range is just almost the same in all the tiers. So the more, let me quote your words, the more divided we are, the more we fall. I hope we really take that home. And which brings me to the point of, we need to come together as Africa. And next week, we are talking about destination weddings. We need to come together. How can we bring business to each other? How can we, within even the countries we operate in, how can we be together, especially in certain categories? The market cannot be together, the whole of it, because they are different. But as luxury planners, how can we be together, and luxury suppliers, so that we can control the market, not that the market controls us? So that is a really good takeaway. Marcy, I feel you didn't talk a lot today. You know, how would Nigeria be without weddings? Honestly, it's a really big part of what you do. And I want you to talk about, you know, some of the things that you do, and some of the things we could collaborate, and your parting shot.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. I think this has been a very insightful session, just listening to lots of planners around the continent just share, honestly, you know, opinions that I feel like will shape this entire industry for a long time. Coming back to your question, obviously, it's not, you know, Nigeria would actually always have weddings. Like, it might just be smaller, it might just be bigger. However, like, we are definitely going to have weddings for a long time. We love celebration here, and this is not going away, COVID or not. We're still going to have lots of weddings, and it's a big part of what we do at Bella Naija Weddings. We actually spotlight very fascinating weddings. Sorry, just one second.
It's all right. We understand. This is how mummies do business. We understand. Don't feel flustered at all.
No, I'm not. I was just trying to handle a tiny bit. So yes, so back to what I was saying. So basically, I know that a big part of what we do at Bella Naija Weddings is basically spotlighting the beauty of our love.
Your internet, check your internet connection.
from wedding planners, or make like beautiful cake. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's a bit better.
Is it better now?
Yes. It's better now. Yes. Your parting shot.
Sorry about that. Okay. So yes. So basically, I think my parting thoughts would just be, I want to just talk more on collaboration. I know as a continent, we have lots of countries and everything. However, we're not isolated. I feel like we're stronger when we work together. So for example, on Burn Weddings, we spotlight not just weddings from Nigeria, we spotlight weddings from Kenya, from Uganda, from South Africa. And it's important for us to leverage platforms that are very big and in a way to actually promote the continent in a beautiful and even in a lot bigger way. So I'll really say that my pattern will definitely be hammering the power of collaboration. If you have stunning weddings that you've done in the past that you feel like, oh, it would be great to actually have them on Bella Nigeria Weddings for us to spread, please share them with us at weddings@bellanigeria.com. It's very important for us to collaborate now more than ever, because our strength is really in our togetherness. And, most of you here, I feel like we're going to connect a lot more even after this entire session. So please just reach out to me via email. I'm very open to collaborating. If you have different things that you feel like we can actually work on together, very open to actually having those kind of conversations. And your weddings that you've done in the past, please share them, and let's collaborate more. Nigeria is a very big wedding space. However, we know that other parts of the continent also have like very fascinating type of weddings, and looking forward to joining the conversation like when you have on destination weddings, because I feel like that's actually a very important part of bringing money back to our continent, with the kind of spaces we actually have around the continent. So yeah, thank you very much, Catherine, for this. It has been really insightful.
Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Mercy. So we'll start with Wedding Concept South Africa. Give us your parting shot.
Thank you for having us, Umi. Thank you for having us. It's been really insightful. I think we should be doing more of this for sure. Whether it's country exclusive or continent exclusive, I think Africa has too much to offer not to keep pushing forward. And overall, through this crisis, I've kept my positivity. I had moments of despair in between, like we all had, but in fact, I think we are going to come back and a little bit different, and trying to prepare with these kind of panels together, and give each other, empower each other as to what we can change together. Thank you for that, Catherine. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yes, Exclusive, your parting shot and a little bit about your flower excursion, the flower safaris. Of course, we are meeting you next week in the destination wedding webinar. Over to you. Yes, Exclusive, your parting shot.
Yes, so first of all, thank you so much for inviting us. It's been great to hear also some other story of other African continents. I think the one thing that we all have in common is that we are passionate about our businesses. We are passionate about weddings. We are passionate about like giving our best to our clients. And we are passionate about luxury weddings, whatever this may be, for like whoever client comes through the door. And I think we are all in the situation that we say we will do whatever is possible, like for our clients. We will bend words, forwards, like really to make that special dream wedding true for our clients. And this is, I think, the strongest force, and I'm really happy that I could hear like from the other ladies. So for us at Yes Exclusive Weddings and Yes Exclusive Flowers, we believe that we need to speak to people. We are a business that thrives on personal connections, and even though that I love all the technology that has come in now over the past weeks, we are waiting for weddings to come back in. What we are planning on the side right now is we are actually planning, because we have those two businesses, we are planning to bring the attention of like the outside world to Africa with two things. The one thing is through our flowers. We are planning a safari, a so-called rose safari to Tambuzi in Kenya. It is scheduled for October. However, we do not know at this point like whether the time is going to like be like the right time, because of the travel restriction, possibly. We have an amazing floral designer from the UK, Timo Bolte, who will be with us and teaching floral design in the field of Tambuzi roses. So it's going to be a really unique experience.
And we will have a dinner in the rose field.
Yes, we will have a dinner.
This is actually the second time that we do this. We have experience from last year. We have done this already last year. And it was so amazing that we actually just decided to do this again.
So we are big ambassadors for Africa, and that's why I love this panel. I think we need more of that. I think people from outside, they sometimes cannot even distinguish between different countries. Like really for them, Africa is like just one stereotype or a certain atmosphere that they would like to see. But I think the more we can collaborate and maybe even to offer like between countries, something that the client is looking for, the more it will be beneficial for our entire industry. And for the event side of things, I mean, we have come up with a new platform as well, Wedding Africa, where we are trying to promote weddings for people from abroad, to have a platform to actually showcase what they can find in Africa, because this is maybe just also something that I have learned, or that we have learned, the outside perspective. And that's why I really am happy to be on this luxury platform. The outside perspective still, and this is an unfortunate situation, but still for a lot of people, is that they cannot find the luxury and the quality and the professionalism in Africa that they are looking for destination weddings. And that's why I really applaud everyone I have seen. I mean, you are doing amazing jobs. You are raising the bars every time you're doing a wedding. And it's beautiful to see. And this is what we need to show also to the world. This is Africa.
Yeah, we have to speak about this. And I think this is a little bit a problem still, what we have in Africa. We do amazing things, but we are not talking enough about that. We have landscape, we have beautiful venues, we have amazing planner and service provider. They are world class. And when it comes to promote this, we fail actually in the way that we do not put out our names to the world. And we just had this experience. We spoke to a planner in America, and they say, give us an idea what is possible in Africa. We have no idea. So we put something together for them, and we don't have to show them what they have in their country, but we have so much what we can show them, what is unique for Africa, our culture, our nature of the people, the people is something that is unique. And everybody that came to a wedding or even on holiday to Africa, this is what first they say: the people are amazing. And I think this is our biggest strength, what we have, our people. Just let's shout out more.
So Sylvia, your guest next week on the Destination Wedding webinar. Thank you very much. We are looking forward. Lucia, as you look into the crystal ball, what is the future of of luxury, and give us your parting shot.
I think for me, one important thing to note, and out of all this, is yes, we have luxury in Africa. Yes, Africa is ready for more luxury, and yes, we can deliver more. So as a parting shot for me is, while you continue to call yourself luxury, remember craftsmanship, excellence at all times. The moment you start compromising on your deliverables, on the quality that you deliver, you spoil for everyone who calls themselves a luxury wedding provider. So I think it's important to have such kind of forums just to see and benchmark where the industry is at, what you are delivering, and what other markets are doing. And yeah, I feel like together we can do way better. It's very nice to hear about the upcoming event with Tambuzi, and I see a great opportunity there for some of our other brands. I think we mentioned of this chat.
Loudly.
I'm sure you'd love to have the world's best amazing.
You mean Moet and Shadon?
And yes, we can definitely discuss that. And you see, it's this kind of conversations, because truth is, without you mentioning this here, I would never even have known that you are planning to have something, and we would love to do something together. Why not? So thank you very much, Catherine, for organizing this. And yeah, let's keep doing this. I feel like if we continue doing this, it will benefit each and every one of us. Thank you.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much, Lucia. Shamim, what's your parting shot and a final comment?
So I just wanted to say that I'm happy that I was invited to this panel. I've learned so much from all of you. Clearly, we haven't achieved as much luxury as you guys have worked on, but from just this conversation, and I'm sure to many people listening, we've got a lot of hints on how to get to where we want to get, and so many tips. Then there was a part of a backstory that we haven't done on our pages. So we'd like to do that as well as soon as possible. We can't wait for the collaborations that are upcoming. Yeah, and I was so happy to meet all of you. We hope to meet you in person at some point and work together. Yes, those are my parting shots.
Great. Bisola, what are your parting shots? What's your parting shot?
Okay, so one thing I always remind myself is, if your mind cannot change, then you cannot change the world. What do you want to be remembered about for? What do you want people to remember that you did right now during this period as a top brand, as someone that is reputable? What change did you make in the industry? How were you relevant? What did you do? When you think about these things, then you will know for sure if you should call your brand a reputable brand or even a luxury brand. And I will say this because what I decided to do on my own is to split my service into 3. So I have a coaching school. I have a planner extraordinaire school where I coach people, I teach people on what they need to do to become event planners during this season, which has also been a form of diversifying for me and staying relevant. I do a lot of speaking, public speaking. I host people on my live. I talk about things that can help the industry now, encourage people, because I know that a lot of people are looking up to me during this period. And I also get strength from these people because, fine, even though I feel like people are looking up to me, I also need strength to be able to keep up with appearance and make sure that I am on the right course. And because I know that I have this and I'm being focused in doing this thing, it empowers me. Lastly, I decided to subdivide my business into a subsection where I can accommodate the intimate weddings, because I am known for doing big, grand productions. I'm known for bringing cakes from the sky, from the roof. I'm known for bringing couples from under the stage on their stage. I'm known for doing grand production. So now I'm not going to water down my reputation because of COVID. My clients already know me. They see the impact. They are standing by me. But what do I do to stay relevant and also get cash flow, extra cash flow during this period? I have a subdivision for the intimate space, which is a bit lower. So it accommodates them and they still want a bit of the experience. So what did I tell them? I'm telling them that I care about how you celebrate during this period. I know that you are going to be celebrating, but I care about it. And I've created a package that can accommodate this period without watering down my brand. So Trendy Bee Events brand is still known for the top productions, but I still have the subdivision, which is bringing in the steady income coming in. So you need to think, you need to adapt to change, you need to stay relevant, and together, I mean, it's been amazing being here. There are a lot of people in this panel that I absolutely love and adore. I'm grateful to you, Catherine, and I wish us all the very, very best. Thank you very much.
It's been amazing having you, Bisola. We look forward to, I love your energy, really, truly love your energy. We are looking at Fatima Beji. What is your parting shot?
I just like to say thank you so much for having me for this particular segment. It was so nice connecting with all the lovely ladies and getting so much insight from them. I mean, it's given me so many ideas and so many things to think about. And we've also had such lovely feedback on the chat as well. So many people have been so positive about everything. I just like to tell everybody one thing, you know, just be positive, believe in God. He's looking down at us right now. And I'm sure for me, I mean, I'm just leaving it to him, and I know that he's going to take care of us, and he's going to take care of our industry. And I think just be hopeful, and let's pray for the best. And I hope that this you know, like this platform, it's brought us all together. I wish you do more of these so that people can actually openly talk and communicate, because I think right now that's what we need. We need to talk to each other instead of just sitting and, you know, trying to figure out things on our own. Many of us are unable to do that, where, you know, many of us have had to close our businesses. So I think as sisters, you know, as sisters and brothers and sisters, if we come together and just talk about it, I think it would make a real big difference, and, you know, bring a lot of positivity in this, you know, dark time for us.
Wow, I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shira Magira. Susan, you're going to be last. You came last. Shira Magira.
Yeah, so I think it's Winston Churchill who said, never let a good crisis go to waste. So this is a serious crisis for the event industry. And because we are planners and we're good at what we do, we're supposed to now, you know, embrace for impact. So what I would urge all of us is to possibly think back and say, if I knew COVID was coming, what would I have done differently? Well, we didn't know, but now we know there's a crisis that we need to take care of. So what I would urge most of us is to think forward and think what to do next. Small events are not what we're used to in Africa, but I think it's a new start. I think one thing we didn't talk about a lot was doing live broadcasting, so that all other guests are able to partake of it. So I think there are many opportunities for us to grow the industry back to what it is. I believe it's in our hands to either make events come back or to suppress them. And I believe we all want them to come back, because this is our key businesses, right? So for us as Magnolia, we are proud and happy to be here. We are definitely embracing for impact. We are ready for COVID. We are going to be COVID compliant, and we are going to be a solution provider for this COVID season. So watch this space. We are going to launch a new product that will help events in Kenya become more COVID compliant. Yeah, so we're excited about that. And yeah, thank you, Catherine.
Wow, we are looking forward for the big announcement. And if it comes out, anyone listening, you know you'll hear it from us. Yes. And all the best. Susan Minor.
Yes. Last but not least, I guess for me, it's to instill hope. I guess change is inevitable, and how we adapt is what will make the difference in whether we survive or we disrupt the disruptor. So as we move forward, one, I like the idea of collaboration. If it was not for COVID, I guess the positives that come out of this season is, one, we're learning more and more how to be more collaborative within the African continent. We're learning more and more how to appreciate each other as luxury counterparts within the industry. And I hope with time, when this season passes, that we'll be able to come together and cross borders, break down the borders, as a matter of fact, because Africa is not that big a continent, and be able to collaborate more, talk with each other more, share wisdom, share ideas, and also move forward together. And that way we'll be able to build a more continental wedding industry, because right now I think our borders separate us, not just by borders, but greatly because we choose to believe we're very different, whether it's West Africa, East Africa, or Southern Africa. But the more and more we have this panel discussions and bounce off ideas each other, we come to realize that we're very similar and we're going through the same challenges, and we should wish well for each other and help to pull each other through this, and more challenges that we will face in the future. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you, Susan. I think everybody has given their parting shot. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. I just want to thank the team behind this, Kimari, always being there on the technical side, the Samantha's Bridal team that is ensuring that things are going on well, and to announce that next week we are talking about destination weddings. And this is how we can do businesses with each other. Nigerians, bring those $1 million weddings here. And Kenyans, you know, we will go there too. And South Africa, come, we'll go there. Let's do business with each other. I think this is one of the things COVID has taught us, that we have to work together. So next week, I know there are a couple of hotels that are logged in. We are talking destination weddings, and just to figure out how can we go about that. So from me here, thank you so much. From all the panelists, it's been amazing conversation, and I look forward to more and more conversations like this. For everybody who is tuned in, thank you for your wonderful comments. Rosemary Teka, I see you. You're thanking Susan and Fatima. Many thanks to the panelists. We really appreciate you. Urban Live Events, they're saying good job, ladies. Looking forward to partnerships in the future. Wambui, you're saying these are awesome parting shots. Ola Rotimi, you're talking about you want, I'll get Mercy to be, actually people want to know exactly how can they get on the Bella Niger platform. Floral Art, Lillian, you're there. She's saying good job. Well done, ladies. Gina Collis, thank you, Susan and panelists. A very insightful webinar, amazing conversation. Events by Gilna Collis, yes. We have Anne Theodora Sakamo. She's saying, thank you, doctor, for this webinar. All the panelists have inspired me. We have Diana Nekesa. Thank you, Diana, for watching. She's thanking all the panelists. Wow, there are very many comments. Bana, I see you. We have Wamboi Mbugwa, quite a lot of comments. So thank you so much, everybody. And I suppose that's it. See you next week on Tuesday for the B2B, but on Friday at 7 o'clock, you know, couples, we are on. Send in your questions for the usual education. Thank you. And ciao. Music DJ, please.